All right. Never before have we heard Mr. Mohan Bhagwat being as clear and precise on certain issues. Lots of conversation, lots of debate. It's generated at the back of that press briefing. Joining me is right now Sanjay Jha, political analyst, Deshrata Nigam, political analyst, Neerja Chowdhury, senior journalist and columnist. We also have Sanju Verma, national spokesperson, and Bhavna Sharma Jain, national spokesperson, Congress. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson, BJP. I'd like to begin with Deshrata Nigam. Deshrata Nigam, for somebody who has close links with the RSS and has studied the RSS, to give us a larger understanding. We had Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, who actually took over 200 questions on that press conference, touched on every issue that had been seen contentious, at least in the recent times, where we speak of 75 years of retirement. He was very clear that maybe he was quoted out of context earlier and said that he himself is not going to retire at 75. He'll keep contributing and working for the RSS. The second point, Deshrata Nigam, which was really important, was when he spoke and touched upon the Ram Mandir, because he made one thing clear, that for now, for the RSS, Ram Mandir was an agenda of the RSS, and that ends there. However, you have the Swayamsevaks who can continue, to ask and fight for Kashi and Mathura.
Yes, Padmaja. In fact, it was a very
Preeti,
inclusive speech. I'm so sorry, Preeti.
No problem.
I'm so sorry. Preeti, in fact, it was a very inclusive speech, touching almost every sphere of life which affects Indian society, the various sections of the society, and also on the international aspects also. And touching it, because it is not the international trade or something is not the aspect of the RSS, but the general idea is that the international trade and relationship should be voluntary, willful, and not under any pressure, which is enough to say on the subject. Now, you raised two very important points about the retirement and the Ram Mandir. Yes, Ram Mandir, the Sangh was always involved right from the stage of inception of the movement till the completion of the temple and the Pran Pratishtha of the temple. However, so far as Kashi and Mathura is concerned, Sangh per se is not involved in it. However, Swayamsevaks are free to do it, because we can't stop anybody from taking part in a kind of a protest or an agitation for building a particular temple. And most of all, we know these are sub judice in the courts, and the Swayamsevaks probably may be assisting in those places in the legal framework and legal proceedings. That right, I don't think, can be taken away from any Indian citizen if they want to, because judiciary is the ultimate arbiter of the disputes between the two parties, whether they are religious groups or otherwise. And if you look at the issues of population, we know that 2.1 is the replacement level of the population, and Hindus today are at 1.9%. And others are slightly at higher. The Muslims are at the higher. He has also said the population of both the groups, the percentage, the fertility rate has come down. There is no doubt about it. However, if you have to have a very balanced and healthy population,
right. So I have no control over it. The fader falls after 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm going to come back to you on that account. Sanjay Jha, I want to pull you in on this. There was something that especially the opposition and the Congress kept speculating, that something's not right with the chemistry between the Sangh and the BJP, especially when it came down to one comment that the RSS chief had made a short while ago in July, where he spoke of a retirement age, which was 75. He came and clarified that completely, Sanjay Jha. Do you think a lot of issues were addressed on that account?
Preeti, first and foremost, I think if Mr. Modi retires, I think the entire country will be grateful to him, because we need to get rid of this authoritarian and fascist culture, besides which it has been destructive for the economy and the common man. And everyone knows about how the institutional emasculation, whether it's the ED or the EC or the CBI, has now, frankly speaking, become a joke. If one watches what is going on with regards to the Election Commission in Bihar, I can tell you that Rahul Gandhi's allegations have to be taken seriously. Who's responsible? I think the buck stops at the top. Now, as far as the RSS is concerned, I find the organization always speaking with a forked tongue. Now, Mr. Bhagwat says nobody's going to retire at 75, but how hypocritical can this organization be? They retired L.K. Advani, the man who actually brought the BJP to power, using the most divisive communal agenda. But like it or not, he gave BJP what they wanted, political power that they had never had before. They sacked him. Effectively, they sacked him. But for Mr. Modi, a different yardstick. So this is basically a very dubious, duplicitous party. You can't take them at face value, Preeti.
But this
I'll
is
give
not a
you an
party.
example.
Sanjay
why
Jha,
don't you let me
these are the
finish my
words of the
42
RSS.
seconds? Preeti,
Go
let me
ahead, sir.
finish my 40
Yes,
seconds
of course, sir.
uninterrupted.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead, sir.
I'll probably dip 10 seconds into it now because you interrupted me, okay? I'm just being scientifically accurate.
No,
The
we'll give you
truth-
an extra 10 seconds. My fault.
Okay. Preeti, here is the point that you have Mr. Nigam telling you that, we have told our Sevaks if they want to protest for Kashi and Mathura, they're free to do so, but we are not going to back it. For God's sake, what is a movement? A movement is an aggregation of people. So effectively, this is an organization that should have been a charitable and a social organization. It should become the political party. And I have always believed for them to claim nationalism when the truth is that the BJP has taken funding from the grandson of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, I think is rather rich, isn't it?
All right, so I'm glad you've concluded in 10 seconds. I want to, and my bad, I apologize. I shouldn't have interrupted you. I don't do so usually. Neerja Chowdhury, I want to bring you in and I want to give you your 2 minutes, ma'am, to sum it up. Because what we've discussed ad nauseum over months now is all's not quite well between the Sangh and the BJP. Number one, the sheer fact that we still don't have a BJP chief, which this time the RSS chief said that if it was really up to them, the BJP would have had a chief by now. Then, but of course he was speaking in a lighter vein. But larger issues, Neerja Chowdhury, with what the RSS chief said, somewhere down the line, does that confirm that now things are on an even plane with the BJP and the RSS? They've seemingly reached a better front than what was being discussed or contemplated earlier?
I think, Preeti, it would be honest to say that probably 90% of the people who were there in Vigyan Bhavan, about 1,300 people in fact, wanted an answer to that question of 75 years. It had been the top question they would have wanted an answer to. And Mohan Bhagwat, I must give it to him, answered all the questions, controversial questions. He took them frontally and he gave his view. Whether it was language, whether it was caste, 75 years, party president of the BJP, he addressed them. Now, certainly 75 years, I am not going to quit, and I never asked anybody else to quit. Shows that certainly, the Prime Minister, nobody really thought that the Prime Minister would walk into the sunset or Mohan Bhagwat would quit. But there was curiosity, will something happen? And that has been put to rest, and that tells you that they have come to a working relationship, a working understanding for the moment between the RSS and the BJP. The RSS has never had it so good. These people are all over in educational institutions, vice chancellors, governors. Their core agenda has been fulfilled. There have been reservations about the functioning of the BJP, and that is one of the reasons why the BJP slumped to 240 seats in the 2024 elections. Now, have they sorted them all out? As far as we understand, the party president is a very important position as far as the RSS goes. The organization is very important for them. And even though he said if we had to do it, probably the BJP will also say the same thing. If we had to do it all on our own. The truth is probably they will have to come to some kind of an understanding. I can't imagine that the BJP will go in for a national president without getting some kind of concurrence.
Right. Ma'am, I'll come back to you. I just want to get in our political spokespersons into all of this. Sanju Verma, you must be glad because at least a few things have been laid to rest, which were debated many a times in the studio. And one of them, of course, was that age of retirement. It's no coincidence that both the RSS chief and the Prime Minister will turn 75 coming month.
Preeti, first things first, let's be very clear. Sonia Gandhi is 78 years old. Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, is 83 years old. the Congress's alliance partner, the DMK. I remember in 2011, Karunanidhi was 87 years old and still the chief minister. So I think age is just a number. But beyond the age-related semantics, let's get one thing very clear. I wish to respond to Sanjay Jha, who said that the economy is crashing, it is in doldrums, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you have to really be a proverbial ostrich with your head buried deep in the sand. Just a couple of hours back, you know, the news, the biggest news I say of this season is the fact that contrary to every expectation, India's June quarter GDP growth has come in at a phenomenal 7.8%. Manufacturing growth at 7.7%, construction at 7.6%, the tertiary and services sector at 9.3%. And guess what? Inflation is at an 8-year low, 1.5%. The services HSBC PMI index came in at 65.6, a 20-year high. And for the first time in 18 years, 18 years, I said this should be the biggest talking point. Standard & Poor, the global rating giant, improved, enhanced, upgraded India's sovereign rating from BBB minus to BBB, which basically means that the adverse impact, if any, of the so-called Trump tariffs will be completely offset. And imagine, today we are a 335 lakh crore economy, and the likes of Sanjay Jha, who don't know GDP from GNP and Aadhaar card from PAN card, are sitting here and rubbishing Prime Minister Modi's achievements. You call him a fascist? He's the only leader in 62 years to be elected for the third time in a row as Prime Minister. Now take that and start sulking.
Okay. Yeah, but Sanju Verma really has it in for Sanjay Jha. I'll circle back to Sanjay Jha after his turn. But Sanju Verma, I'm also going to come back to you because that 75 age cut wasn't something that the Congress or the DMK proposed. It came very well from the BJP. I want to go back now to the Congress spokesperson. Bhavna joins us as the Congress spokesperson here. And the larger question, ma'am, is very, very clear on that whatever speculation that Bhavna Sharma that was being made on the Congress's part has been laid to rest, especially where the retirement age of the Prime Minister is concerned.
Well, Preeti, one thing I would like to point out is that, today, in listening to Mohan Bhagwat ji, it was very obvious to see there was a lot that was unsaid. There were some things that were said that were outright and were spoken, but there were some things that were underlying and unsaid, like the continued differences between the RSS and the BJP. They exist, and it was very obvious in his, off-the-cuff remarks, like, हम पर होता तो हम अभी तक ये निर्णय कर चुके होते, when asked about the BJP president. So, and his complete contradiction to Mr. Amit Shah and talking about English language. So, you saw the contradictions between the BJP and the RSS, and the differences that are underlying are very, very obvious in the conversation that Mr. Bhagwat was having with, a large group of people. Besides that, what he showed today was their continued not having faith in the constitution is so obvious. Whether it is any, they're talking about their divisive agenda of Hindu-Muslim, differences between them, or it is about, women empowerment, talking about having 3 children and having, there was no conversation about what about employability of women and what impact it will have on livelihood of women as well. So I think that the overall agenda that was so obvious, continued to be what RSS is known for, which is extremely divisive and, completely not believing in the constitution, and they want to change the constitution. They still keep talking about the Hindu Rashtra, and, the no place for any other voices to be heard, besides theirs. So they want to dominate on that, and that was very obvious with Mr. Bhagwat's session today. Was not
all right, Ms. Sharma. You might want to touch on the differences, but I think Neerja Chowdhury put it down very aptly. We don't know, whether there was whether there were any issues at all, if there was speculation, or has there been a reconciliation. But one thing is very clear by that press conference, that there has been now a working understanding between the BJP and the RSS. On that plane, they seem to be together. And, I want to go back to our panelists, 2 minutes each to all of you. Sanjay Jha, let's begin with you. I reckon you have enough to answer on the questions posed by Ms. Verma.
And how much time do we have this time?
2 minutes, sir. All of you have 2 minutes, and I promise not to interrupt.
Excellent. Well, here is my short reply. Firstly, I don't make personal comments on people. And one of the reasons why I don't appear with this spokesperson on programs is because of the very vulgar nastiness that happens. So because I have unlimited time, I'm going to take advantage of it, Preeti. The next time, if you're inviting me on India Today, either is going to be the BJP spokesperson or me. Now let's carry on. She's made a statement actually on GDP. Let me tell you that the GDP deflator, I challenged the Modi government to go public and say, what is the GDP deflator used to come to the real GDP? If you look at the figures closely, nominal growth has actually come down. So they're claiming a higher real GDP on the basis of a lower inflation. And since we are a student of economics, we can argue about that till the cows come home. If the GDP was really booming, Preeti, India would not be jobless. India would not be having farmer distress. MSMEs would not be crumbling. And this party and government is only talking about the stock markets. Coming back to the RSS issue, I think the statement made by Mr. Mohan Bhagwat on having 3 children is regressive, is archaic. It's like taking India backwards. I think we should not ignore that. Preeti, you are a distinguished woman, very professionally versatile, as is the BJP spokesperson and the Congress spokesperson. I personally respect women doing very well in their careers. I think for anyone in this day and age to treat women as some kind of a reproductive factory is insulting, is demeaning, is mortifying. Let people make their own choices, Mr. Bhagwat. Who are you to give a lecture on how families should evolve? I think that's an issue that I think everyone should be concerned about. And I do believe that he's put the communal agenda right in the center. Remember, Preeti, for all the toll talk, Hindutva is their obsession. That's what they believe in. They did not believe in secularism and socialism. Can you really trust the RSS?
That was very well timed to exactly 2 minutes, Sanjay Jha. Deshratan Nigam, to bring you in on this, I want to ask you a larger question, Deshratan Nigam, because, for somebody who studied the RSS, till now, a lot of Mr. Mohan Bhagwat of the RSS had been shrouded in this mystique kind of, narrative, which one didn't quite know what the thought was. Was it regressive? There were lots of questions, which clearly you had the RSS chief take, over 200 of them. This is a first. Deshratan Nigam, is there a strategy behind it to come out and take every question, no matter how uncomfortable it was, to maybe a public outreach?
Well, Preeti, in fact, this is not the first. 2018, we had a similar Vyakhyanmala, and Bhagwatji had taken the questions, a huge number of questions at that point of time also. And Bhagwatji has been speaking his mind and the RSS worldview from various forums. Take any forums, whether it is a book launch or anybody or various medical centers or any inauguration that he has been invited to. He has been speaking his mind.
So we'll hold your time. We'll hold your time. And I just want to ask you, and just for better understanding of our viewers, your time is frozen, so it's not that you're losing time. But the question, Mr. Nigam, is it a recent, so yes, you might have had it in the 18, but off late, we've seen Mr. Bhagwat take a very public, open stand, taking questions, be it in press conferences, uncomfortable question about women participation in the RSS or the lack of it, speaking about it, talking about it, communicating. We haven't seen that. It's a very recent phenomenon.
No, it is not. In fact, being a part of an RSS, we have been participating in various functions and hearing maybe the media does not cover it as much it should. This particular event was actually covered extensively by the media. And to say that we do not believe in the Constitution, certainly not. He did refer to the Constitution, the constitutionally guaranteed reservations he talked about. He also talked about the certain aspects which should be taught to the children about the constitutional duties, rights, and the guiding principles of the Constitution should be brought to the students at an early age. So this is all affirmation to our Constitution. And I don't know from where people are getting the concept of we only believe in that only Hindus should exist. He clearly talked about, made a distinction between Indian Muslims and the illegal migrants Muslims who are coming from outside. So he says the jobs must also be given to the Indian Muslims because they also require. So that distinction is not there between Indian. He says we all are Indians. And at the same time, people are talking about women empowerment. Women empowerment has always been in the forefront. We have a Rashtriya Sevika Samiti, the women wing of the RSS, similar to RSS, which keeps on working on the ground. And to say that there is a difference of opinion between BJP and he himself admitted that there may be struggle, but there is no quarrel between the BJP and the RSS. Difference of opinion will always be there. And he clearly said, we never impose. We only give suggestions, advice.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Time's up. Final comments, Nirja, I'm going to bring you back in. So a working relationship now clearly been established between the BJP and the RSS. How do you see things go forward? Will we now maybe see, a BJP chief which is amiable to both the RSS and the BJP?
Look, I feel that Mohan Bhagwat was trying to, what I would call mainstream the RSS, reach out to communities that have been suspicious of it, or what he called, dispel the myths about the RSS. And therefore, this whole exercise of answering questions, inviting people who have been critics of the RSS to those 3 days. It was an interesting exercise. What I found, though, he struck many inclusive notes, that Hindu Rashtra included everyone. Whether you called yourself Hindu, Hindvi, Bharatiya, or Sanatani, all this it didn't matter what you called yourself by, what name. It was the same thing. You belong. You had the same DNA, same cultural background. So those kind of things he talked about, inclusive notes. But yet, I found that his stand on certain issues was toughened. In the last month, he's talked about we should not look for a shivling under every masjid. But he shifted, I think, on the Kashi-Mathura, having said in 2019 that we are not going to back any Andolan, which still remains. But he said a Swayamsevak could, as an individual, take part in an Andolan. Now, there is a very fine line between the two. So maybe, and also the 3-child norm, what is going to be its impact. I think all this needs to be thought through. So maybe there are pressures within the Sangh from the extreme right wing, from those who pursue this line, that he had to synthesize the pulls and pressures to be able to present a package which will draw in many more people in the coming months, which they obviously plan to do.
All right. Final 2 minutes to Sanju Verma and our Congress spokesperson. Sanju Verma, please go first.
Preeti, one area where I agree with Sanjay Jha is, yes, I agree, Preeti Chaudhary is highly accomplished. And I have another big debate coming up, but I'll go so far as saying she remains one of my favorite anchors, despite having huge disagreements with her on and off. Now, let me, I have been called, this BJP spokesperson is nasty, she's vulgar, crude, indecent, obscene, tasteless, boorish, misogynistic, disgusting, foul, imbecilic, loathsome, offensive, detestable, repugnant. These are the litany of adjectives that I use for Sanjay Jha. I don't want to make this personal, but on zillion debates when he has abused Prime Minister Modi, I have called him out for who he is. He is a suspended leader of the Congress party. In the last 5 years, the Congress has not found it worthwhile to make this man their official spokesperson. He can come and rant as much as he wants. Not wanting Sanju Verma to be on the same panel is like Shiny Ahuja saying he does not want to star in a Salman Khan movie. So I don't care 2 hoots about who you are, Mr. Jha. Keep your pearls of wisdom to yourself. I will repeat. What we need to understand beyond the semantics is this. 56 crore Jan Dhan bank accounts under Prime Minister Modi. 19 crore rural households have access to clean drinking water under Prime Minister Modi. We need to understand this, that more than 10 crore Ujjwala Yojana gas connections have been given under whose aegis? Prime Minister Modi? We also need to understand more than 47 crore Ayushman cards have been given under whose aegis? Prime Minister Modi. We also need to understand today more than 95 crore Indians have access to broadband connectivity. Thanks to whom? Prime Minister Modi. We are the world's second largest steel producer, the third largest solar energy producer, the world's fifth largest stock market, the world's third largest car producer, the world's second largest bike manufacturer, the world's second largest cement manufacturer. And if you still abuse Modi, you need...
All right, ma'am, time is up, but once again, it's a gentle request to all our panelists. There's 2 minutes time. One can use it whichever way you want, and it goes for everyone. I'm not talking about any particular person. Use it to attack a panelist or use it to put your point forward. I would hope we're all mature adults and very intelligent that we put our points forward. Last 2 minutes, Bhavna Sharma, I give you. Make your point before we wrap this debate.
Preeti, I just want to point out that I think my friend Sanju Verma here today did not understand the subject of this debate. This debate was about Mohan Bhagwatji's press conference and the issues that RSS, what it stands for and what it raised. So I'm going to go back to my points. Number one, I feel that I disagree with Neerja ji when she says that, it was very inclusive. It was blatantly not standing for the secular fabric of this country and the idea of India. It was talking about, their golden-eyed boy, the UPCM has been bulldozing masjids, and he clearly backed the agenda of the RSS, what it stands for, which is dividing this country and dividing our population. Number two, I would say it was, as Sanjay Jha already pointed out, it was extremely regressive. And it didn't talk about, we don't see women in any leadership positions in RSS. RSS does not even have, they talk about this women, movement that they have, but it just doesn't come to the forefront. And you see across the country, you don't see women in RSS. And what came across in his speech today, in his dialogue today about having 3 children is itself the regressive thought that totally came across. Thirdly, the constitution. When you say that no, conversion should not be allowed, are we living in a country where people should have the right to choose what religion they follow? I think the Constitution of India guarantees us that. So when I say that he does not stand for the Constitution of India, it's his remarks like this, that okay, fine, that people should have, every individual, every citizen of India should have the right to choose their own religion and practice it. And the government should allow this country to prosper. And
right, ma'am, time's up. And I appreciate we're running out of time. That's all the time that we had, at least for this debate. We're going to go into our next. I appreciate all our panelists for joining us. Thank you for your time.